So, what happens when a movie trailer launch goes off the rails? I mean, not just delayed, but completely blows up into a massive political showdown. We are talking sabotage, accusations of fascism. The whole thing just became this huge flashpoint for a national debate.
Okay, let's just dive right in. It all starts with this pretty startling claim from the filmmaker Vivek Agnihotri right in the middle of his own event. It immediately makes you wonder, how on earth does a trailer launch at a five-star hotel end with someone claiming the wires were deliberately cut?
All right, so let's set the scene. This whole thing went down at a planned, pretty high-profile media event in Kolkata for the film The Bengal Files. But what was supposed to be a standard press launch, well, it turned into something else entirely.
So here's kind of how the day played out. Everything was supposedly good to go. The hotel was booked, preparations were made, but right as things are about to kick off, bam, chaos erupts. The screening stops cold, the director gets up and alleges sabotage, and the whole thing ends not with a Q&A about the movie, but with the filmmakers talking to the press, surrounded by a heavy police presence. I mean, the whole sequence just leaves you with a ton of questions.
Now, to really get why this all happened, you have to understand the film that sparked it all. This isn't just any movie. It's digging into one of the most violent and, frankly, controversial chapters in modern Indian history. At the very heart of this film is a single, pivotal moment, Direct Action Day. And we're not talking about just a protest here. This was the event that triggered what became known as the Great Calcutta Killings, a horrific period of communal violence that led to thousands of deaths and really set the stage for the partition of India just a year later. And look, the filmmakers have been crystal clear about what they're trying to do. They say their mission is to tell the untold story of the Hindu genocide and to serve as a wake-up call. This is the final movie in a trilogy of other history-focused films. And that tagline from the director, "If Kashmir hurt you, Bengal will haunt you." Well, that tells you everything you need to know about the kind of impact they're going for. So, as you can probably guess, the moment this launch fell apart, the story split into two completely opposite directions. Was this a genuine act of censorship, or was this a manufactured controversy to create buzz? And this is where you really see the two sides digging in. On one hand, you have the claim that this was a targeted attack on free speech, a brazen sabotage happening under a dictatorship. But on the other side, the whole thing is dismissed as nothing more than a drama, a cynical move by a filmmaker with a political agenda who is trying to divide people and malign Bengal. So from the film's supporters, the argument is really straightforward. They see this as a clear-cut case of political interference. To them, it's proof that the state government was actively trying to shut down a story it didn't like, a direct assault on freedom of expression. But the counter-argument is just as strong. From this perspective, the filmmaker isn't the victim here. He's the one causing the trouble. The claim is that he's the one with the political agenda, using his movie not to explore history, but to deliberately stir up division for political points. Just two totally irreconcilable points of view. Of course, this firestorm didn't just stay with politicians and the press. The second the trailer dropped and the news of the disruption hit the internet, the public basically split right down the middle too. So you had one camp that was absolutely captivated. For them, this trailer was a powerful, necessary look at a history they feel has been ignored or even covered up. They don't see propaganda at all. They see long overdue truth-telling. Then you get this more conflicted take, which is pretty fascinating. This person calls it a propaganda film, but in the very same sentence, they're praising the cinematography. It really shows how some people can separate the art from the message, or at least see both sides of it. And finally, you have the people who just reject it outright. This viewpoint sees the film as purely divisive. They're asking, why are we even digging up this painful 80-year-old history? They see it as reopening old wounds just to score political points today. So, when you strip away all the shouting and the finger-pointing, what are we actually left with? Well, this one chaotic afternoon in Calcutta is really a perfect snapshot of a much bigger, much more complicated conversation we're having about history, movies, and politics. At the end of the day, this was never really just about a movie trailer. It tapped right into the raw nerve of how we interpret our own history.
It forced this head-on collision between the ideal of free expression and the fear of propaganda. And more than anything, it shows just how blurry that line between telling a historical story and sending a political message has become.
And that's really what this whole thing boils down to, isn't it? It leaves us with this one massive question. Where do you draw the line? When does a film stop being about uncovering the past and start being a tool for the present? And when does telling history become a political act? There's no easy answer. And if this controversy proves anything, it's that we are nowhere close to agreeing on one.